What's up, you guys? My name is Hutch, and I make videos and put them on the internet. Today is Friday, which means that it's the weekend. It also means the iPhone 5 came out today, End of Watch came out today, Dread 3D came out today, and the Master came out today. It's just a fucking glorious day, so happy Friday to you. But being that it's Friday, it also means that today is the day that I do my weekly vlog, where I answer a question that one of you guys proposes. And just a reminder, I'm no longer doing a topic that gets the most amount of comments. I'm going to pick the comment that has the most amount of thumbs up. So if you want to suggest a comment for next week's vlog, go ahead and leave a comment below. So your ... and then suggest something. And if it's something that I have experience with, or I think is entertaining or funny or insightful or anything like that, then I will take a stab at it. But before we get into any of that, I want to say that right now, really happy with Borderlands 2. The guns are just unbelievable. That game was a lot of fun, and I've been doing an ongoing sort of Let's Play series, walking through the co-op campaign with APL Fisher, C. Nanners, and Nicholas Fenton. And those videos are all over the place these days. I'm uploading one or two of those a day, and fucking thrilled with that game. And yes, I got my lip pierced again. I made a video last night talking about my wish and desire for you guys to be open-minded about these sort of things. You know, it was a really heartfelt video. A lot of time went into it, so be sure to check that out. I'll leave it in the video responses below. So jumping right into it, our question for this week comes from Brains, and he asks 3 questions actually. So you're losing your best friends, so you're lacking motivation to do whatever, so you have a hyperactive brain, like if you'd want Hutch to do any of these suggestions. Well, buddy, I'm going to do you one up and do all of them. Alright, so you're losing your best friend. I have a feeling that a lot of the people that watch this, that watch my videos and watch this video are either in high school or maybe just out of high school. And that is a period of extreme transition. It's a time when you're starting to develop your belief systems a lot deeper than you did when you were younger. During this time, a lot of people, a lot of friends that you've had for years, those friendships just sort of naturally drift away and don't mean as much to you as they did when you were younger. And so as far as this topic goes, I think the only bit of advice that I would have to give to people that feel like they used to have a best friend and they're no longer feeling as close to that person is that the older you get, the more you realize that friendships are actually built on work. It takes work. It really honestly takes a lot of work and maintenance to maintain the friendships that you once had. It's making the effort to pick up the phone and call your friend when you haven't talked to them in a month, just to ask them how they're doing. Even maybe if you don't want to. Maybe you just got home from work and you haven't made yourself dinner yet, but it's little things like that go a long way. If you feel like you're losing someone, then make the effort to make sure that doesn't happen, or express that to them. Say, hey, you know what? I really value our friendship, and I really have a lot of fond memories, and I would like to maintain this. And is that something you're interested in, or what can we do to spend more time together, or nurture this friendship so it doesn't go away? You invite the people into your life that you want in your life for all the right reasons. You want people in your life that complement who you are, and as long as whoever you're surrounding yourself with does a good job of that, then I'd say that you're in good shape. The second question is kind of a big one because it relates to some topics that I've talked about before, a la depression and existential angst and things like that. But so you're lacking motivation to do whatever. Disclaimer time, I forgot to put that in before. All pieces of advice and experience that I have to offer are my experiences. I've never experienced life through the eyes and brain of another human being, and I don't know how to speak for anyone else. So I can only speak for myself. If this doesn't apply to you, or if it doesn't resonate with you, then I'm sure that there are plenty of people out there in YouTube land that can offer you some feedback that does hit a chord with where you're at. The other disclaimer that I want to add is that almost everything that you hear coming out of my mouth is something that someone else told me. So I hardly have an original thought in my head on these sort of topics. But one of the things that someone told me a long time ago is that the way that you build self-esteem is by doing esteemable acts. So if you're lacking motivation to do whatever, I think that when you go through times like that in your life, it's a really good indication that there's something that you need to be tending to. And a lot of the times, I feel like that comes in the form of creativity. I have a feeling, and for me, what depression was for me was I had some kind of creative itch that I wasn't scratching. Now, this just happens to be my itch that I scratch on a daily basis. I fucking get off on making YouTube videos and putting them out there, and it makes me feel good to get feedback that someone laughed or thought it was funny, and I like attention. So this is what I do to stave off that creative drought that people get in from time to time. But for you it might be different. For you it might be making like little yarn animals or something like that, or collecting awesome rocks from the beach and putting them in different formations in your room. I'm just fucking throwing shit off the top of my head at this point. But if you're lacking motivation to do anything at all, then I'd say that's probably because you haven't found something that drives you, something that you derive a great deal of fulfillment and satisfaction and pleasure out of doing. And sometimes those things change. Like for me, it used to be chess. I used to play chess 4 or 5 hours a day for about 4 years straight. I used to go down to this coffee shop in Santa Rosa and play with a bunch of old angry Republicans, and I fucking loved it. And chess is creative. And then that changed to Call of Duty, and I got super into Call of Duty, and anything that people might not think that something like Call of Duty is creative, but it is. It does itch that or scratch that creative itch. And then it turned into video editing and learning how to use software to make this sort of content, and then improve on it and learn things like pacing and all those things. So I mean, my interests and hobbies shift from time to time, but I'm always looking for something that I feel that I get fulfillment out of. Noam Chomsky is one of my favorite philosophers and social commentators ever. He's probably the most influential person that I've ever read anything from. And one of the core points that he alludes to in a lot of what he writes and talks about is that in all human beings there's an innate need for creativity and freedom. These are the two most important things to all human beings, is a desire to be creative and to have the freedom to do so. So if you're lacking motivation, get out there. That's my advice on that one. The third one is near and dear to my heart. So you have a hyperactive brain, and I fucking do. And I can tell you a little bit about what it's like to have a hyperactive brain. I often wonder what other people's thoughts are like. I'm genuinely curious as to how other people's brains work, because mine is so active all the time, and it's 99% of the time it's just nonsense. It's like random. It's like a song or a scene from a fucking documentary that I watched, or a movie that I just watched, or I'll hear a song and then I'll think that would make an awesome montage, and then I start imagining in my head the things that I could do to make a fucking cool montage to a shitty song or something like that. But the point is that there's basically always something going on up there, and I don't know if other people's brains are like that. I imagine everybody thinks all the time, because you can't avoid thinking, but I'm super aware of my thoughts at all times. So much so that it sometimes takes me out of the moment and creates this disconnect. And I err on the side of depression sometimes. I'm not in that place right now. I feel really good these days, but I've had times where anxiety and depression were a big part of my life, and interrupted and interfered and ruined a large majority of the enjoyment that I got out of life. And a lot of that comes from the fact that my brain is just so active that when I'm going through something shitty, like I've had, you get old enough, you get friends die, you lose a job, you get in a fight with your family, or you break up with your girlfriend. Like, shit just happens sometimes, and when those things happen, that's a particularly sensitive time for me, because I think a lot during those times. And I used to worry that I had something like schizophrenia or bipolar disorder or OCD, because I would experience extreme psychic and emotional discomfort from these things, and then I would go on Dr. Google and fucking diagnose myself with 15 different things. But I've never had a manic episode. I've never had a hallucination. I just suffer from a little bit of anxiety from time to time, and the way that I deal with having a hyperactive brain is, it goes back to the second thing that I've already talked about, which is I try to be as creative as I possibly can on a daily basis, and I also try to take some quiet time for myself where I'm not looking at a screen and I'm not reading comments or tweets and things like that. During those times, I either like to watch a movie, or I like to read a book, or I like to just sit outside and smoke a cigarette and try and focus on the sounds that I hear just out there in the world, and I try as best I can to drown out my thoughts. But yeah, you know, I think that's the most simple advice that I could give anyone who has a really active brain, is to use that for creative purposes, and again, try and derive some satisfaction from all that, and then also make a conscious effort to distance yourself from your thoughts sometimes. Get some space from your thoughts. Go out and take a walk, or go to the ocean and just kind of stare out and try and drown out the tidal wave of thoughts that you can experience from time to time. Because I think it's important to decompress every once in a while. And that is the end of this vlog, guys. I hope you liked it. Once again, if you guys have a suggestion for next week, go ahead and leave a comment below. And I hope you guys have an awesome weekend. And thanks again for showing up and liking my stuff these days, because it makes me feel good and I like it. So have a good weekend, guys. Bye.